Hey, hey, and welcome to Breaking Bread, hosted by me, Crunk Chocolate. Tom Bomb will be joining shortly. A show where we break verbal bread with the quote unquote enemy. Whenever Manchester City has an upcoming match, I will be here having a conversation with a supporter of City's upcoming opponent. Shout out to all those watching on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Subscribe to the channel, please. Hit that thumbs up, like the video. All you lovelies watching the replay, you beautiful souls. I appreciate you. Light up those comments while you're watching right now. Let us know what you're thinking. Contribute to the conversation a little. How about it? Sunday morning is the battle for Manchester. Intrigued to see how our guest is feeling for the match. In the last 10 derbies, Manchester City have won 6 of the 10, 4 of the last 5. Fulham found a winner in Fergie time recently, whereas City put 5 on their head tops. To help me learn about City's crosstown rivals, the opinionated neighbors, the one who will explain to me the good that Bruno does that somehow outweighs the bad, the OG doing the most dope things in Atlanta for the football community and for the culture. Shady Gang, give it up for Greggo. How's it going?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
You know, it's a good day in the A. You know, despite all the rain today, I'm not tripping too much, and we actually did have a good, decent win today in the FA Cup. So
yes,
mildly optimistic. Mildly.
When you win, the vibes are definitely on an upward trend for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I would like to start here something nice, some easy. Just letting the viewers know a little bit about yourself. Who is Greggo? What's FTC United? 2 cents, etc. Let us know about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I'm one of the founders and organizers of FTCUTD for the Culture Soccer Show. We've been doing this for the better part of the last 5 years now. Me and organized with a couple of homies here in Atlanta. Then we branched out. We got our homie Devin up in Baltimore, and what we try to do is basically give like the equivalent of like like how you go to the barbershop and you're talking sports up in there, and it's like you end up talking like about a whole bunch of things, right? And that's how we want to bring the conversation about soccer, because I know for a lot of people who might be relatively new to the game, it's like where can I find the conversation where it sounds like something that I can really kind of grasp and swallow and just you know talk about, as if we just talk about the NBA and LeBron and Curry and everything, and it goes beyond that into pop culture and Black culture. Like we try to hit it all, and it's been something that like I said, for the past 5 years, it's been a lot of fun doing, and being able to network and build this overall community of Black soccer in this country, and that was always our goal at the start of things, is to help change that narrative that Black people are in the soccer in this country, because I feel like that's a bum rap, and of course, as we have learned over the years, is that's entirely not true. And it's just a matter of building that space to where we feel like this is our space as well. It's not just white space, not just brown spaces. No, we're here, and we're able to induce our culture into the soccer experience.
Love that. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I support that, and I feel it fully from what we do over here, and everything that we continue to do. It's always just trying to make sure we are true to ourselves and our culture with what we do. Obviously, we want to know what we're talking about and be respected, but also we want to be able to do that as ourselves, unabashed, not having to hold back and all that stuff. So it is nice being able to mix it, because it's been fun. It really has. We've only been at it for 2 years. 2 years actually, in a couple of weeks officially. So people like you and the plenty other names I could just like spout off. It's been very nice to when we got into the game. That was kind of the first thing I was doing. I did was look for people like me, and so it
Right.
was really nice being able to find all of you, and all were so welcoming at that. So it's just been great, truly.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I feel is that was just absolutely necessary for, I think, for us, and then also for everybody else that's come since, because if you've been to an MLS game, USL game, NWSL game, in some pockets of the country, it like when it's one of us that comes in, it's almost like, am I the fly in the milk? Am I, you know, like is there anybody that looks like me? Like
Fly in the
what's going
milk.
on? And it's like this building this community has been something that I've absolutely have enjoyed, because again, like whether, like, if I come to Chicago, I got Jake and Phil from Blackfire. So if I come to DC, I got homies up there. If I go to New York, I got homies up there. Even if I go up to Madison, I got four Featherstone Flamingos, got them up there.
Yes.
It's all, and shout out to Black Stars out in St. Luke. I heard they just got started up officially this week, and that's the kind of stuff that we want to see, to where, like, our presence is more normalized, and of course we all know where we can all connect.
Also, hey, what's up, Jen? What's up, Patrick? Always appreciate you, homie. Uh, also, uh, Tamam, what's up? Um, hold on, you might be muted.
You're supposed to be a veteran on this, man.
Players fuck up. Let's be honest. Players fuck up. Let's be honest.
You can't win it all. Can't win them all.
Nope.
Well, what I was gonna say is, flying the milk had me laughing. What I actually call around here is a tiger in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because that's kind of how people treat you when they're just like, it's just like, bro, I'm just as lost as you are. I shouldn't be in the snowstorm. Like, like I'm a
Oh, man.
tiger. Oh man. Anyway, I want to get to easy move. This is about the Manchester Derby. How did you become? How did you choose Manchester United as a club that you supported?
So it started off very loose, because I remember I was a kid back in the 90s, the greatest generation and everything. And there was a Nike commercial that came out. I'm pretty sure it probably lined up with Euro 96. And Eric Cantona was at the end, like, flipping up his collar, talking about au revoir, and throwing the shot through the devil and everything. And just that level of swag, even then, I was like, oh, whatever team he's on, that's the team I need to check out. And even like through the years, because like I probably say, like, my true fandom probably didn't start until probably like 10 years later. But like the one team that I knew in Europe in general was Man United. Like, I think I knew Man United, I knew Real Madrid, and I knew Juventus. But Man United was always my team. And uh, once I finally started to get into it, and of course I just happened to just run into this generation where you had Rio and Evra and Rooney, and I call him Mr. Seven. I don't go by his government name. We just acknowledge him as Mr. Seven, and go with that.
Like the Arsenal people do now with 5.
Yeah, basically. And we just like that whole generation, all that success. It was like, hey, it was a good time, and of course, even past all the Fergie years, and just trying to figure out what exactly is our identity since he's moved on, and it's just been it's a labor of love. That's all I can really say. It's a labor of love.
Oh,
Do you ever get the feeling that, like, because Fergie is still living, still kicking, like he's just casting this extremely large shadow over the club that like they can't get around it from underneath it, like that, like, and I hate to be morbid to say this, but like from the outside looking in, it almost looks like Fergie has to pass on to the other side in order for United to kind of like get the move that they like establish that brand identity that they had under him.
Yes and no. I think that for a lot of people, I think people have to understand some context here, and just like how dominant United was under Fergie, because like outside of like those first few years where we were still kind of average back in the 80s, like pretty much like once the Premier League started, we never finished below third. Like, never mind all the titles that we won, just that level of standard where you like England has 4 spots for the Champions League. We never even bothered with fourth. That like 1 through 3, that was us. And I said this back when Fergie retired, that when we hired David Moyes, I was like, he has to maintain a standard where if he ain't up for it, this ain't gonna last long. And because I said like if he finishes below fourth, it's gonna be a problem. And I think he finished sixth that year, and I was like, "Yep, that's it." And I think that there's a couple other things that come into play, because I feel like Fergie managed to figure out the balance between modern football, where you could just buy players wherever and still managing to have a relatively British core of the team. Whereas now, especially because you're hiring managers from elsewhere, it's like, hey, I don't have the same attachment to British players and English players. If they're good, we're gonna try to buy it. And I think that that's kind of taken away from the United that a lot of people grew up with. So it's like you're kind of running into a situation where, what is Man United now, especially with all the dumb shit with the Glazers, and now with incoming with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, like we're really trying to figure out, like, it's been over 10 years since Fergie retired, so it's like, and now we have a new co-owner in place, so we're just like, do we have the opportunity where we can find what is the new Man United? Are we going to be that team like Madrid and Barcelona and Man City, where like you're getting players from wherever? Or are we going to try to figure out, like, can we get back to what worked back then and try to at least compete with City and Liverpool and Arsenal and everybody else? And like, are we going to go the way of Chelsea? Because that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we like to do a lot on our show is do a lot of cross sport comparisons, and like kind of hearing you talk. And I kind of wish that Tarek was here to kind of like give some context to this comparison, because I think he would be the perfect person to do this, because I really think like what you're stating kind of reminds me of like the flux of the University of Miami football.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good one.
Like after Coker left, essentially, and like you just kind of like see that like downturn of the team as a whole. Do you kind of get those vibes? Like, because I mean, that's where my mind kind of immediately went.
That's actually a really good comparison. I think another one I probably use is probably the Bulls. Once Mike left, because you basically have had like 25 years where the Bulls have pretty much been shit. And like, other than like maybe a couple years where Derrick Rose was still healthy and they were halfway decent in the East, but like for the most part, it's never been the same. And I think that, again, like with how things have transpired post Fergie, and I think, and just leaving the Glazers and Woodward before he left to their own devices, it makes you appreciate the job that Sir David Gill had, and Fergie had, as far as just offsetting whatever nonsense the Glazers were talking about. Say, hey, we got this, we're good, but once they left and they had to hire their own guys, you realize, yeah, these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. So and I think that, like I said, with Ratcliffe coming in and trying to hire some real football people, even if they do come from certain places, over on the other side of town, we hopefully have are at least have people that have a clue as far as where to move forward. I'm sure we'll probably get into my stance on Ten Hag, but yeah, like I'm hoping that at the very least we have like sane people in charge that actually have an idea as far as like what type of product do they want to put out on the field and how that's going to look in this modern era, because it's not 1986 anymore. It's not. And I think that a lot of people look into the lens of United as if it's still 86, where it's like we can afford to give somebody 5-6 years to figure things out before they start winning. I'm like, it's just not that time anymore. Like pretty much like if you're being hired at Man United, you're being compared to the standard of the aughts and 90s, where it's like you got to win, and if you're not doing that, then yeah, you're not going to get a lot of time to figure things out. I mean, Ole didn't get that much time. Van Gaal didn't get that much time. Mourinho was never going to give that much time anyway, because that's just not his. That's not his.
That's not his piece. That's not his piece.
That's not his ministry. But, like I said, I'm sure we'll talk about Ten Hag now. Like, we'll see how things go.
Yeah, let's get into it. I mean, first, Ronaldo did try to warn everybody, hey, yo, they are still kind of stuck in the past. They need to update it, and he got killed for it. Nah. So it is interesting. But let's talk about the transfers, because when it comes to transfers, Manchester United, they love a flashy, splashy, cashy, the vibes. Last couple of seasons, Ten Hag has been bringing in players that fit his style. 2 seasons ago, he brought in Anthony, Casemiro, Martinez for a combined 223 euros. Then last summer, United welcomed Mount, Onana, and a tall blonde Scandinavian of your own, Højlund, for a combined 188 million euros. Does the spending make sense from your point of view? What's your thoughts on United's transfers during the Ten Hag era?
Keep in mind, the one person that often gets forgotten in all that is Mason Mount, and of course, we're still waiting on to see like what exactly is going to happen with him. But I do think I will say this about our moves. One, I think that we're trying to get away from the reckless buys, where it's like we're just trying to buy. We're trying to sign X guy, so because he'll sign, 100,000, he'll sell 100,000 jerseys. Because I feel like back when we had Pogba and I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. Broham, Belgium. My mind is just absolutely just went out on me. But trying to just sign players that sell jerseys that's not going.
Lukaku.
Yeah. I don't know why.
No, you're fine. It took me. I forgot he was there. I was just
right. I did too. And that was the thing. Like he went from having a really solid first season to all of a sudden it was like he can't be there, and I was like, we're trying to make him a scapegoat for what exactly? I'm like, he wasn't the problem. I'm like, y'all, like he was there, he did his job. Like we had other issues elsewhere in the squad where it's like, you're thinking that one person's going to save this, where it's like you need a comprehensive overhaul as far as just the type of quality that you want is going to get you the results that you deserve. I think that Ten Hag is trying to approach this in a way to where, one, we don't have to spend nearly as much as we were 3, 4, 5 years ago. But at the same time, I think that it's almost like we're still trying to pinch pennies. And I'm like, why? Like, it's not like we're broke. We actually, our money can be, accounted for, I name no names and anything, but
okay.
but
Don't worry, I got some. I got some for you.
But no, like it's not like we're broke. So it's not like we're Barcelona. It's not like we got to figure out, okay, like we got this money coming in, we got this money coming in. The attendance it still looks good. So it's like, why would why would it be a case of we got to like only spend this amount of money? And of course, it goes back to the issues with the Glazers and the overall neglect that they've put on United for the past 10, 15 years. And I think that we're what we did last year, 2022, when we brought in Casemiro and Ericsson, like I felt like it was a high quality band-aid, because obviously they're very high quality players, but at the same time they're not young. So it's like you're having to bank on like how many more years do you have with these guys where they can still play at a pretty high level. Like we tried to like back after 2014 with Schweinsteiger. It's like, yeah, you realize he ain't had shit left. So it's like that's the gamble that you're running on in this situation, where you're hoping that, okay, like, we might be able to get them, like, if we can get like 3 years and, find somebody in between that time that might be able to get groomed. And by the time that they move on, we already have their replacement in place, like something like that. But I think we've already seen that this year, like being able to rely on Casemiro, despite what happened today, unfortunately, it's like, do you like relying on them every game? That's just not something that you could do. So it's like you're having to scramble as far as like who's going to be basically the heir apparent already. And I think we might have something in the future King Menu, but we'll see. But I think Onana, I liked him at Ajax. I really did. And
hold on, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We haven't got there's a section for our players.
Okay, but
don't go in on him too early though.
Yeah. But I would say that we still need some work in the midfield. Unfortunately, Martinez has been in and out with injuries, because like I loved him last year. I loved the absolute shit out of Martinez last year, and it's like this year he just hasn't stayed healthy. And like if we can never get him healthy, and it already looks like Varane's on the way out, so we gotta find a new. We might have to find a new center back tandem in general. But I'm hoping that Lissandro will be able to get healthy, because I think he's a gem for given his lack of size. I think he's actually awesome.
So just a quick question, like you mentioned like putting high quality band-aids on the team with older players. Like I can't and this, because I'm not tapped into the team as much as you are, but I can't really think of a Man U academy kid that has come through and broken through to the first team and made any sort of impact, honestly, since Rashford. I mean, am I wrong on that?
I mean, I would say that, obviously Manu, he's an academy player.
Okay.
Aside from him, I feel as though you've had guys that have had like, I'll say inconsistent success. I mean, McTominay's probably at the top of that list, where it's like every so often it's like you think like, damn, like he's good, and then he'll have other games afterwards you're like, what? So it's like you never quite know what you're going to get with him, where it's like you can truly rely on him to be that every game starter. But I feel like I do love McTominay's attitude. I do love that, but I feel like attitude ain't enough. Sometimes you actually got to be able to play at a top level, and he doesn't always do that. But I mean, like I said, we do have that streak of always having like one player from the academy going back to the 1940s. But I feel like, again, like that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like we're wrestling with, what our future identity is going to be, because again, Fergie made a very good job. Did a very good job of keeping that balance between having his core that was from home, and then also looking out, throughout the rest of the market and seeing like, hey, I can get somebody from Portugal, I can get somebody from Norway, I can get somebody from Brazil, stuff like that. And it's like I said, like now that we're obviously in a new era, it's like, do you want to still try to do that, or are we going to find something new to where it's like, again, like we're just like everybody, all the other super teams, where it's like, hey, you get the best of the best regardless of where they're from. So
we have plenty of Brits on our squad. Yours is the one that is 70%.
I
let you get it off once, but I wasn't gonna let you get it off the second time. I was like, all right, my guy.
No,
I think that was more of a shot at art. I took that more of as a shot at art.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay. I'm just making sure. Just making sure.
I would actually say that Pep Guardiola is probably the best thing to happen to English football and the English national team in about a good 30 years, because you have a guy that is obviously, he's a high quality trainer, and given all the English players that are on the squad, they're able to translate that over to the national team. It's like we're actually halfway decent, the past few cycles. So I said, that wasn't necessarily for y'all. Like I said, I got more stuff elsewhere. So
I'm just saying, that put some names on these bullets. Then that's what I'm saying. Then if you're being vague, then I'm instantly gonna be like, you're insulting me. Why are you insulting me? So I want to keep moving to the. I just want to get to this Ten Hag. So we get a ball coach. You get a ball coach, Erik Ten Hag. All I've ever heard is he's brilliant and can bring change to United as long as he gets his players. Pep finished third his first season with a bunch of 30-year-olds and a couple of kids. Next season, he kicked out club legends, brought out Gundo, Stones, Ederson, won the league. Both clubs through the years have spent however they want, varying degrees of success. It's easy for me to say Erik Ten Hag is trash. But you, as a United supporter, someone who is more tapped in than I, like Tom Baum said, what it looks like to me from this outside looking in is Ten Hag has been supported financially and had brought in the players that he supposedly has wanted, but really hasn't found the success expected. Like you said, top three, right? Top three. But let's start at the beginning. Do you feel that Ten Hag was the right hire from Jump Street?
He was probably the best that we were going to get, because I do think that the word is kind of out as far as the Glazers go, and where things were as an organization, prior to Ten Hag coming in. So I feel like when you go from having just like the utmost stability, with Sir Alex for the better part of almost 30 years, to suddenly you can barely get a guy to last, 3 or 4 years. And I think that speaks to just a lack of organization, the lack of I've kind of changed my view over the years, because like there's the old Jordan versus Jerry Krause argument, where it's like, is it the player that makes a team, or is the organization that makes a team? And I do feel like, while you can have good players all day long, but if your organization is trash, it ain't cutting it. And I feel as though there are a lot of coaches out there that have gone on record speaking about it, as far as just like what the current ethos of United is, and be like, yeah, they're just about selling jerseys and being on the covers of magazines. They're not really about the football. And it's I feel like whatever we did to sell Ten Hag on the job, that must have been a shining moment for Woodward and the Glazers, because I do think pretty highly of Ten Hag, at least at the time. I still feel pretty highly of him, but like, you weren't going to get a Zidane, you weren't going to get a Ancelotti, you weren't going to get those guys. Like, I feel like if we were, we would have gotten Klopp back when he was available, and that didn't happen. And it's one of those things where, you know, if we didn't sell the team, or at least I guess, and now like a portion of the team, and let somebody else take control, like this team would this club would have been in a really bad spot, you know, going into this decade, because like I said, we're trying to act like we're still Manchester United, but it doesn't translate on the pitch, and like we're basically a big club in name only, and that can't work when you've actually had the success that we've had, and then suddenly you're everything's gone to trash.
So let me ask you this: with all of the coaches that are going to be available on the market, do you feel that Ratcliffe coming in is going to be enough of a sell to those managers should Radcliffe decide, like, we're doing a tear down, we're starting from scratch, we got our new player personnel person from across town, we're going to get a brand new coach? Like, do you think that they, like, there's that they will be able to like, you know, are they going to be in for a Xabi, or are they going to be in for a Xabi Alonso, or are they going to be in for hell, even Klopp? You know, would that, like, is there enough of a change there that you could see, like, yeah, maybe we can get a bigger, more established name in one of the big 5 leagues, as opposed to getting somebody from Eredivisie?
Yeah. It's not quite enough, but it's a huge step, because I feel like, again, like if you had left things to the devices of the Glazers, we'd be looking like like a really expensive struggle bus. And it's there's been a lot of things around the club that have been allowed to basically be neglected. You know, whether it's the shape of Old Trafford itself, the training ground. You know, again, like we used to be. It wasn't even that long ago where we used to be the standard on those type of things, and just the fact that it's been able to fall under so much disrepair, like it's basically turned into FedEx Field. If those of y'all who have been there, y'all know. But yeah, like that's something that. Oh, my bad. They lost their rights today, so it's no longer FedEx Field. But that's a whole. That's all. I digress.
But we knew what she was saying. We knew what she was talking about.
Yeah, but it's. I was kind of comment. That was good, but it's one of those things where you have, it has to be a comprehensive undertaking, as far as, you know, you got to put a lot of elbow grease and fixing things. And like I said, Ratcliffe is a step in the right direction. His money is a step in the right direction. Like I said, hopefully he builds a front office that, you know, knows what they're doing, and knows how to basically scour the earth and the UK to rebuild what was broken. Now, I do think that as far as the squad itself, we do have pieces that we should be continuing to work with, but as far as just bringing in new talent, bringing in new coaches, yeah, without seeing that part of the rebuild, it's going to be hard to tell any big name coach, like, yeah, you should come here. I feel like we might be. I don't want to say we're stuck with Ten Hag, but at the same time, I feel as though, yeah, if you don't have something tangible, it's going to be tough.
So, like, I don't want to stay on it too long, but there was like rumors of Nagelsmann. I feel that's not much better than Ten Hag. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's a push. That's a push.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Well, we'll keep it moving to the players on the squad. Because you're 6, and obviously Pep has even said it about United every single time. Everybody needs to be on the same page, and he just doesn't believe that where on United is on the same page, and once they get
I
that,
agree.
they'll be where they are.
I agree.
Which of the players on the squad this season have impressed you?
I'll say this, because I think for the amount of pressure that he's had on him, and Hoyland has come along, and of course, him getting hurt at this point of the season is just like a real gut punch. Because I'm like,
Yeah,
we were right at actually having something. I think that, for what it's worth, I totally did not expect him to feature as much as he has, but Johnny Evans has held up shockingly, and because like when he was first with United earlier in his career, like he was kind of like basically he was rotation. He wasn't that guy that you necessarily had to rely on, and he moved on. They just think I think was it West Brom, and was solid for what it was. Leicester at Leicester, and but it was never something I was like, y'all bring them back now, like But I mean, for everything that's happened on the back line, you've ended up having to call on him, and like I said, he hasn't broken down all the way, but like I said, it's kind of like it's bend but don't break. Who else would I say that I actually like? It's like it's amazing to me that we are in sixth, considering how inconsistent that we've been. It's just been a hot mess and a half. I don't want to put too much on Maynard just yet. I really don't, because I feel like people see one performance and just want to be able to crown him just like that. And I'm like, it's England and he's black. The second something sideways goes wrong, they'll be ready to turn on him. And then
it don't really have to go wrong. Ask Raheem Sterling.
Exactly. And it's I pray for the baby. I'm at an age now where I can say I pray for the baby. I pray for so yeah, but I'm kind of over Bruno. I think making him captain was actually a mistake. Shock, like I don't know what in the world happened since he became captain. It's just he's kind of just lost his whole shit. But it's just always like that midfield just bothers me to no end, because I'm like, if we could actually just get some consistency there, we actually might be halfway decent. But yeah, injuries have torn our squad and half of our season to shit. So yeah.
On the other end of the spectrum, we talked about the player who has excited you. Oh man, we can do it then. Let's play the flame game for sure. Some fangers. Who squad has been struggling, and you're just like, this motherfucker here.
Oh man, it has to start with Bruno, and I feel like some people are meant to be the leaders of a team, and some people are just the talent, and it's like, hey, I score goals, I make dope passes, and I go home. That's what I do. And for as much as Bruno was trying to be that guy before he actually got the armband, like, can we get that guy back? Because I feel as though since he's become the club captain, it just hasn't clicked. And I'm a big believer in attitude reflects leadership. Shout out to Remember the Titans. And it's like when Pep says like everybody is on the same page, I start right there. And it's something where if I'll put it like this, if a nice offer from the Saudis came this summer for Bruno, I'd be like, vaya con Dios. But I mean, like, but everybody else, I mean, like, I can't be too mad at Casemiro because I feel like if anything, if he was on the pitch more, he should be captain because I feel like he still plays with passion. It's just that he's older and he can't do it as much as he used to. And I wish we had gotten him 5 years ago. Like I remember playing FIFA. Like this is probably like FIFA 18 or FIFA 19. I'm like, I made sure to get him. Like he was like a cornerstone of my squads, and like I followed him from Madrid up to here. Like when we first got him, I was like, this is a really good get, but it's just a matter of like how long do we have while he's still that guy. Last year he was still pretty much that guy, like when he was available. Now it's like things are slowing down for him, or it's like, like I just can we get last year back? But other than that, I mean, Onana. I think he's in his head. That's basically the simplest way I can put it. I feel like he's starting to get settled in, and he's playing. He's been playing a lot better, the past month or so. But yeah, like those first 3 months, I was like, don't make us look dumb, because I actually predicted last year that our next keeper was going to be was in Milan. My hope was that it would have been Magnan instead of Onana, but of course, given the relationship that Onana had with Ten Hag going back to Ajax, it kind of made it academic. But I already knew it's going to be 1 and 2. I know it's going to happen, and I said like when he's not all up in his head, he's solid, but when he's all over the place, he is literally all over the place. Like he's like for those United old heads, he's like Barthez. Like you just don't know what he's gonna do. You just hope for a good game and like he doesn't blow too much. But like I'm hoping that like just calm down. Just it's just a game. I get it. Some people get intimidated by the price tag, and like they think they have to live up to it, and that kind of messes them up. But if he just plays the game, he'll be all right. But it starts and finishes with Bruno. I pluck him out so fast.
Okay, quick question before Crunk moves on. Okay, Jadon Sancho, was that a manager thing or a player thing?
Ooh.
Largely manager.
Okay,
because I feel like we all like I played sports. I'm guessing y'all play sports at some type of level as well. And like you have moments where like you don't always get along with your coach. It doesn't matter if it's high school, college, rec, whatever. But at the same time, it should never get to a point, especially in that leadership dynamic, where it's like you're just that stubborn to be like, I can't talk to him. He's with the reserve squad. So I'm like, so you just intentionally, is your principle that strong to where it's like you can't figure out compromise? I'm not saying that you got to take an L or he's got to take an L, but you got to figure out like what is going to work for the betterment of this team. And I think that that should have never snowballed the way that it did, because it just looked bad optically, and it set the tone, and it set the season off to a bad step that you couldn't get this worked out. And I feel like that incident did follow through on the team, like, and how we started the first 2-3 months of the season. So I think that Ten Hag should have figured out a way to be like, how do we work this out? And it never happened.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's talk about the previous 5 games for both clubs. Manchester United have won 4 of their last 5 Premier League games, losing to Fulham in extra time, beat down West Ham at home, big road wins against Luton Town, Aston Villa, and Wolverhampton. United have found ways to win, but I wouldn't call the wins pretty. I can't be too hypocritical because City have been edging wins themselves, and we have been trying to preach the others of the importance of winning over everything. How have the last 5 matches for you been as a United fan? Out of 10, how high is your confidence in the squad right now?
Without Hoyland, it's about I would feel a lot better if you weren't playing City this weekend. I'll say that. Like if okay, I'll put it like this. In general, probably about a 6. Against City, probably a 3 or 4. Because you just have like the thing about City, and I've said this for quite some time, is that the teams who have like it all comes down to depth. And I feel as though the teams who are able to succeed in England and Europe are the teams who actually have depth. Like you can't go through 3 or 4 separate competitions without depth. It's just impossible. And the fortunate thing about City is that you do have the resources to basically field damn near a whole top-notch team on the bench. And so like if a guy like I remember like a few years ago, when Jesus was still on the team, I'm like, you had him on the bench. Like that's the type of quality that City has or had at the time. And like even like this season where you've had stretches without De Bruyne, I'm like a guy like De Bruyne not having him would derail most other teams. But City has the depth to be like, hey, just a bump in the road, we'll figure it out, no problem. And um I think that that's what keeps y'all on top. And I feel like at least with us, like when we lose guys, like we have some depth, but it's just not near to the extent where the quality maintains the same, and that we can be as confident against certain teams to see like, well, we can still get a result out of this, we can still get a point out of this, and you know, like I said, we've been doing all right the past month or so, but yeah, like that Fulham game, good, that one just annoyed me because I'm like, Fulham is for as much as Fulham has grown, they're still pretty crappy on the road this year, and I'm like, how do you give that up at home? I'm like, that should never happen. But again, that goes back to just the level of inconsistency that we've had, the past since forever at this point. But like a couple years ago, I would have been happy with Rashford up front. Now I'm just like, he's a winger. Let him be a winger. That's just what it is. So it's like I don't feel as confident as I used to as far as we'll be all right with him up front. So I would say, yeah, against y'all, about a 4. Everybody else, I give that a 5 or 6.
On our end, City have won 4 of their last 5 as well, except for the non-win was a draw, not a loss. The last time Manchester City lost, let's see, Aston Villa, early December. The one draw was Chelsea. Wins over Bournemouth, Everton, and Brentford twice. Weren't beautiful wins at all, but each, clubs, they're playing these low blocks, begging us to score through passing or running or crossing, whatever, through 10 players in the box. Sharpie, he said in our previous episode, you pointed to the other people, Arsenal, even you guys have been experiencing these low blocks and how difficult they are to break down. This has really kind of been what City has been dealing with for 3-4 years now. It's kind of getting annoying. One point from the top and beating United. That really, depending obviously how Liverpool does, that could take us to the top of the table. And beating United to get on top, to take over Liverpool, that really is kind of like a dream circumstance. So it's going to be an interesting match. We're at home, 35 match winning streak, unbeaten streak at I don't say winning streak, unbeaten streak, because there have been 5 draws in that. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Not the most worried about your club, but also it's one of those things. Anything is possible in a Manchester derby.
I feel like I'm pretty sure, like at least from y'all's perspective, it's probably at most a trap game. Because I mean, again, it is a derby, and it's the biggest derby, and so it's like you don't want to overlook United, even if things aren't looking great for us right now, because there is still enough quality where if by some chance Bruno gets his head out of his ass and actually has a great game, if our back line holds up, if Onana's on his shit, it can at least be tight. It can at least be tight. And so like I said, I'm it should at least be scrappy, and just a matter of like how long can we hold, and can we hold it for the entire 90? So we'll see.
Starting 11, I'm interested because as you
Yeah,
said,
because you're moving a lot of pieces to field 11 players.
I'm about to say like who's healthy? I'm like that might be tough.
especially with I mean, as you should in this competition today against Nottingham Forest, you kind of play the strongest squad available. And a match on Sunday, that's a few days for players to kind of rest and recuperate. But yeah, how much of even the squad that played today do you think it's basically copy and paste? Because I really don't think he went too crazy with the lineup.
Let me go back and take a look at this. I know Manu came off the bench. Yeah, I don't see any changes that I would go out of the way to make. I mean, I'm still shocked that Anthony came back, but that's a whole other thing. But
Hey, Ten Hag was fighting.
He might be able to get that one, but Greenwood ain't happening. But I'm good with it. I would say, aside from like maybe McTominay and Anthony, I think we keep most of that 11. If anyone changes, it's probably gonna be those two.
Oh, so okay, so Onana. Same thing with Amrabat. You think he's gonna get a start?
You got Amrabat starting, like, because it looks like he started at left back.
Yeah. I don't think Shaw's healthy.
BBL Shaw is not healthy. That white boy is thick for no reason at all. Just
no God. But yeah, if it's not Shaw, then yeah, it'd probably be Amrabat sticking back there.
I hope you have Amrabat at left back against us. Oh my goodness, that is exciting for me. This is.
I'm wondering. I'm curious if they'll pull the trigger on Manu. I'm curious. I don't expect it, but I'm curious. I don't see Eriksson starting. He might come off the bench. Let me go back a little deeper. Because I feel like Like,
So
who am I
you-
thinking of that really could start this week? Like, I feel pretty good with those though.
So you still got Lindelof over Johnny Evans?
Yeah, if he's healthy, yes. I mean, God bless Johnny Evans, but no.
Love it. Yeah, and again, same thing. I would love to see Johnny Evans, but I
I
don't.
bet you
That's
would.
gonna
I
happen.
bet you would.
Yeah, so on our end, Tom Baum, I guess I'm gonna throw this out and you let me know what you think of it. So we
Okay.
have Ederson at goal.
Hmm.
Backline starting from the left, we got Ake, Diaz, Stones, Walker.
Okay.
I would assume we would probably do a Bernardo, Rodri midfield. Bo,
I don't know how you sit Kova, but okay.
so Bernardo over on the right and Kova in the midfield.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then um
Foden on the left, KDB, he said will be back, and Halan up top.
I don't know if Bernardo starts, honestly. Like
Oh,
I know that Charlie said it on the last show that like you can't start Alvarez, Phil, and KDB, but I think you got to try it because I think that's to me that's what what'll win Europe.
so Alvarez is the right wing.
Hmm.
Oh. I've always wanted that because I feel like that's where he starts out right and cuts in, and
Yes.
Pep wants the width, but with Walker, how wide he plays, that kind of fits with what
Well,
Alvarez is trying to do.
but I think that's where you say to Walker, like, no, you have to sit deep. Like, I need you as that third actual center back, and
Oh,
I don't need you getting up the pitch. That's my wish list. I don't know if that's necessarily what's going to happen.
I mean, I'm okay with it because even the key pass that he made for one of the KDB assists, Salon goals, he made that pass from midfield. It wasn't a whipped in pass. It
Right.
was from the deep line breaking pass. And I would love to, see that from him. Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you think about that lineup? How's that sound to you?
I do see Alvarez starting. Yeah, I could definitely see him coming in the 11. I keep forgetting y'all got this funky Christmas tree looking formation,
Yes, we do. It's pretty awkward.
but
Mhm.
it's honestly fascinating, especially given how Guardiola's mind works. I'm like, I can see just that looks fascinating as I don't know what. Yeah, other than that, is Akanji a regular starter at this point?
He's it
Yeah,
he
that doesn't sound
because
confident.
He's like really what's happening is like he's competing for two different spots with two
Mhm.
different other players. So like he's competing with Walker to be that outside back slash third right-sided center back, and he's also
Mhm.
competing with John Stones to be that inverted midfielder or pushed up midfielder from a defender. So like
Mhm.
he's competing with those two players for those two spots essentially.
Gotcha.
Now, what I will say is that personally, I like it when he is. I know that Ruben Diaz gets all the hype for the grit mentality, all of that, but like I personally like it more when Akanji is that centerpiece defender, like that center defender. But since
Mhm.
I know that Diaz is healthy, he's gonna play.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If Akanji doesn't start, then yeah, then yeah, if as long as Walker's healthy to go, I can see him starting. But yeah, those looks like at least from the 11s I'm seeing from the recent games, um, yeah, like the likely changes would be Alvarez and Walker. But yeah.
All right, let's end here. Score predictions. How do you actually let's start with Tom Bomb so we get a little city, and then Greggo, you can go, and we'll end with me. City,
All right.
United City.
So, I mean, I've been really impressed with our ability to keep clean sheets recently in the league form. That's all going out the window. This is a derby. Daniel said it. Derbies are always stressful. We're going to concede one. So, but I do think with as someone said on Twitter, and I forgot who it was, and I apologize for not crediting you. In the FA Cup game, Holland got his software update, so he's back into form. So I think we're going to score 4, and I think that we're going to give up 1. So I got a 4-1 score line.
Okay. 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 I will give you 2 scores because again we don't know which United's going to come through, but I feel like City's going to be pretty consistent either way. If we can manage to, wake up and step up to the moment, we might be able to get a draw to this, probably 2-2. I don't see us winning. But of course, if we shrink in the moment and Bruno's still Bruno, then 3-1 City. We might get like one either really early or really late, but those 3 will come like it'd be like, why are we here? But
wow.
I'm hoping actually like this can be. I feel like for who's there right now and healthy, this can be scrappy enough to where it can be close. It's just a matter of can we finish and can we actually make something out of the midfield, because I feel like right now our midfield is our biggest weakness. And if we can hold our own there, this can be at least tight. But yeah, if it's not, then yeah, it's going to take like 2 quick goals to just undo everything, and then it'd be like, yeah, we just got another goal because we felt like it, so it'd be like 3-1. So yeah,
I agree. I think I see a 3-1. I said on an episode that we were going to score 6, but that was because I thought it was going to be a closer game on Luton. We were going to pull away on the end. That would raise our confidence to just beat y'all down. I do not see Halan, KDB doing 4 assists, 4 goals again. I would love to. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think they're gonna, especially a lot of these United games, especially the ones that we win. It's more about the way they win more than the amount of goals that they score.
Mhm.
So I feel like a 3-1 win can feel incredibly dominant. I would like to not give up a 1 goal. I would love to keep a clean sheet, but we know how allergic Manchester City can be to clean sheets. So it is what it is.
Fair. Talk about 4-0. I feel some type of way about that. So
Not 4-0. I said 4-1. I said 4-1. I said 4-1.
All right.
I said 4-1. I said 4-1. I gave you 1. Also, I think to me, and I know that this seems like completely irrational. I remember Rashford's first season with the club and him winning the derby. And so he always gives me nightmares. Even when I know he's out of form, even when I know that he's not playing well, I always just think God,
you can wake up at any moment. So it's just
correct.
The doctor's a very sensitive soul. That's the best way I can put it. And sometimes, depending on what's going on, whether it be on the pitch or off the pitch, it's sometimes it's very easy to for him to get thrown off of his game. But when he locks in and when he's on it, I don't think there's many other English players better than him, and I'm hoping that again, like there was a moment when I thought that he could be the answer up front. I'm no longer on that boat as like I used to be, but if there's ever a moment for him to be like, you know, I can still do this, and y'all have to fear me. This would be a great time to do it. So
It would. You're
yeah.
not wrong. You're not wrong. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much,
Shady
Greggo.
Gang. Please give it up for Greggo. Yeah. Love yourself. Let people know how they can find you and all of the things you're up to.
Absolutely. Of course, we are active, very active on the Twix box.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. I like that.
At FTCUTD. We're on a mini hiatus. That's the best way I could put it. Like we're trying to get some stuff straight on our back end, but of course, with MLS, NWSL, and USL started, of course, this is kind of like our kind of like tax season for us because of course what we are known for doing is laying magnificent drip on your jerseys and your shirts. So if you of course, with all the new jerseys that have come out this week and last week, if you got a team of yours that you got to lace yours up and you don't want that basic looking, Times New Roman font on your back of your jersey and you want some sauce on it, come get your boys at ftcutd.com/shop. Right now, we're running a sale, promo code Kit Week. You get 20% off on all your orders. And again, I said we do it big, so come through. It's like we work with you, so we try to make it work. And again, like y'all have seen our work. Like we do this. We do this.
Yes, yes, truly talented.
Yes.
Coast of coast. Well, Shady Gang, we will see you Monday.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. We will see you tomorrow for our lit stream. Oh my gosh. The most dangerous show about football. 3 most dope guests. The Go Club podcast. Andy. Wow. I keep thinking of his @name, but basically I actually don't know who the Go Club roots for, but I think this is going to be one of our first no city guest shows of the season.
So he's a good person then. Good stuff.
All 3 of them, great, fantastic people. So join us 7 p.m. Central. 3 guests, 1 at a time, varying conversations about football. It's always a good time. Grab your snacks, your adult beverages, or not adult beverages, depending on what you like, what you don't like. Hey. And come kick it with us. I am Crunk Chocolate. This is Tom Bomb. You know the vibes. Shady Gang, Shady Gang, Shady Gang.